Hello everyone. We are so excited today to host Teresa Summer. She is a yoga, hypnotherapy and life coach. She speaks German as well, and she's very well known to us with her yoga workshops, but I'm going to be handing over to her now to give us a bit of an introduction.
Hi there, Kat. Thanks so much. Yeah. So I'm really happy to be here and thanks so much for the invite. As you can probably hear, I am South African, but I'm married an Austrian. So I live in Austria a lot of the time, but we also have a home in Plettenberg Bay, and I spend about 5 to 6 months of the year here and the rest of the time there in Austria, where I have a studio and a studio in Switzerland, and I teach yoga and train yoga teachers. That's my primary goal. My primary work is to train people to become yoga teachers. And at the moment, I'm also doing training with Marissa Peer in Rapid Transformational Therapy. I've been doing hypnosis for the last 2 years, and I wanted to specialize in it, and that's where I am today. So loving the healing sector of work.
That's amazing. Quite a lot of work to do with holistic wellness and a lovely focus on women as well. What led you to become a yoga teacher and go into hypnotherapy, and how did you get into this?
Well, my yoga journey started about 28 years ago in Austria with my husband. I just did a yoga course for his sake, and I didn't really like it actually, but I went anyway. It was like a bonding and a connecting with my husband, you know. And then we went on world travels, and every now and again I would just pull out this yoga mat. And then by the age of about 30, I somehow just got onto the art of living with breathing, meditation. And I did that one course and my life just turned around and I never looked back. And from there, the art of living is based on breathing, meditation and knowledge. And then came yoga, only then came yoga. And then I did some training in Iyengar yoga. I was very intrigued by alignment, proper alignment, and how the system works and why things work the way they do. And then throughout my yoga journey over many years now, I realized something very deep. Yoga has it all, but it doesn't speak to everybody. Not everybody's interested in yoga, so you're only speaking to a certain clientele. So I decided to do hypnotherapy, which I was totally mind blown by, because hypnotherapy can speak to anybody else, you know. Everybody else who is not interested in yoga. And they both go hand in hand. They both work with the subconscious mind. They both work with full transformation of the human psyche. So for me, those two, yoga and hypnotherapy, are an absolute magical combination.
It's such a unique pairing to come across, I must be honest. I'm so excited to delve into that partnership. Okay, so we're going to start with hypnotherapy. How does it work, and what types of, I don't want to say issues, but maybe challenges does it assist with in a general sort of scenario?
Yeah. Well, hypnotherapy is absolutely integral, but it is misunderstood, widely misunderstood. Most people are really afraid of hypnotherapy. They fear that they're going to start clucking like a chicken, you know, like you see it on stage, on the TV and stuff like that, or fall in love with a fire hydrant and who knows what not. But that's not hypnotherapy. So hypnotherapy, the word therapy, says everything. So when we do proper hypnotherapy in form of therapy, we shut down the thinking mind. The thinking mind, you cannot rely on the thinking mind. The truth lies in the non-thinking mind, and that's called the subconscious mind. And that one we can only literally achieve or access if you shut down the thinking mind, which means we take you into a deep state of relaxation, nothing more, nothing less. It's the same in yoga. In yoga, at the end of the classes, you'll lie in something called shavasana, which also takes you into a deep rest, where you just shut down the muscles, you relax the body, you relax the breath, you relax the mind and everything. And then you can access the subconscious mind in hypnotherapy to access vital information, which has everything to do with your presenting problems in life. And once we access those vital information, we can reframe them, you see, because when we're children, we experience certain things in life, and whatever we experience, we give it a meaning. And depending on the meaning we give it, that's going to that's going to be responsible for how we develop in life. And the majority of the people with problems and insecurities mostly have the same issue, meaning I'm not enough. Maybe you were left to sleep in your own bed as a child. Maybe you were constantly told that you're naughty and that you're misbehaving. And all those messages from our parents and the systems and from schools give us a certain meaning. We interpret those incidences and give it a meaning. That meaning is vital, it's crucial, it's important, because that meaning will lead to us behaving in a particular way. And that's what creates most of our problems. We believe something that actually wasn't true and wasn't real. It was false. So we want to go into hypnotherapy, into a relaxed state, in order to turn it around there and then. And this is also where it's not just normal hypnotherapy what we do here, it's called Rapid Transformational Therapy, which means within 1 to 3 sittings, you can have almost a whole topic completely turned around, as opposed to years and years of therapy, just talking therapy. You just go and talk and talk and talk, and you keep realizing the same problems keep coming up over and over again. You just can't seem to escape those issues. That's because they haven't been radically ripped out at the roots and turned around at the roots. I imagine it, I always like to use this analogy of a root canal treatment. You have to go and take the root out in order for the pain to stop. And that's what we do in the RTT therapy. So it's really powerful, it's amazing.
Yes. Do you think, is it works for everyone, or is it sort of on a case-by-case basis?
No, it works for everyone. I'll tell you why. It works for everyone who wants it. Because
yes,
we're all the same. We're all the same. We're all the same. We all have a body, a physical body. We all have the mind, and the mind interprets situations in life. So if you're just somewhat willing to explore it, to experiment, then it works for absolutely everyone. If you have somebody that says, you know what, I'm going to sit there and test you and see how much you know and how much you can do, and I'm going to sit here all stubborn, it's not going to work. So it works if you allow it to work, but it definitely works because it's actually also neuroscience. It's nothing airy-fairy. A lot of people interpret yoga as something that's airy-fairy, even though that's not the case. Yoga is very scientific, right? But for those that don't speak that language and that are not attracted to yoga, this is complete neuroscience. It's a proven fact that if you think negative thoughts, your brain is going to fire synapses that are going to create negative hormones within your body, and you're going to feel really bad. You're not going to feel good. You'll feel sad and unhappy, and your posture will change. So there's a whole chain reaction to your belief systems. Absolutely 100% embodies. And you can see it on a physical body as well. As a yoga instructor, I'm trained to see these things. I see what posture looks like in people and where they blocked and where they closed off and where they stuck. I can see it. You're trained to see this. Yeah.
You've got such an interesting quote up on, I think it's your Instagram. The primary cause of unhappiness is never the situation, but your thoughts around it, which is exactly what you've been speaking about. It's such a great way of looking at things and changing behavior and mental practices to change attitude. Can we unpack this a bit?
Yeah, sure. It's like, for example, if you imagine you're sitting in a house, and the roof falls down. You can't change the fact that the roof fell down. You can keep complaining about this roof falling down over and over and over again, and you can talk about it for years, but that's not going to change the fact that the roof fell down. So it's better to take action, to take responsibility, to accept that this is what happened and then fix the roof. I was talking about earlier about the meaning we give to things. When you're a child and your parent treats you unfairly and constantly punishes you, you create a certain meaning. The meaning that you create from this is, I'm not good enough. I'm not enough. There's something wrong with me. I'm naughty. I'm bad. And if you believe this, you're going to attract those kind of experiences. You're going to attract conflicted situations all the time, which are going to approve and prove to you that you're not enough, that you're not good enough, right? So now it's my choice as an individual human being and to say, okay, I don't like living like this. I'm very unhappy in everything I do. I'm going to seek help. And then I'm going to seek help in a therapeutical session, or I'm going to go to yoga, or, embark on my journey of self-care. And then I'm going to start realizing things. And when you start working with a therapist, a competent therapist, you start realizing it had nothing to do with you, what your parents did, but it had everything to do with them. And when you start realizing this is when your healing starts, right? Your healing starts when you start opening up and understanding, hey, it wasn't me, it was never me. It was always somebody else. And there's proof to this because every baby is born perfectly enough. And you know what? Every baby knows that. Because no baby thinks to themselves, oh, I'm naughty, I pooed in my nappy. Or no baby thinks, oh, I'm naughty, I'm crying for food. They just do it because it's a reflex, it's a survival instinct, right? And they just do that. So when you start realizing that the parents that raised you, they had their own upbringing and their own conditioning and their own traumas, and that's why they behaved the way they did with you. That's why they're just repeating what their parents said to them, or their grandparents, or their school teachers, etc., etc. So it's about becoming aware of how I'm feeling, exploring why am I feeling this way, where does it have its roots. Then I want to go to the roots and understand those a little bit better, because that's where my freedom lies. And then I want to turn it around. And for the next 21 days, I want to feed my subconscious mind positive suggestions about I'm amazing, I'm enough, I'm strong, I'm powerful, I'm abundant, I'm worthy, I'm lovable, etc. So we choose the way we view situations and what we do with them. But we need to become a little bit conscious to do that. Because the majority of the people just live their lives unconsciously, being unhappy. They don't even realize that they don't feel worthy. They don't feel good within themselves. They just do it.
There's no self-awareness.
That's it. And that's where yoga comes in. It teaches people self-awareness. Just going onto the mat and doing a simple exercise, you become aware of how it feels inside your body, because the instructor prompts this and guides you through a journey. Yoga is a journey. It's not just exercise. It's a spiritual journey deep into the self.
I think it also teaches you something that maybe, I suppose, in modern times as well, we struggle to be present because there's so much distraction and so to be still and to be present without distraction is very hard. And I think
very, very true.
Once you master that, you can go internally and do the work that you need to do.
Yeah, you see, and that problem is not getting any better anytime soon. Because of AI, technology and everything, it's there to stay. So now we are being challenged to actually train ourselves. The human loves his comfort zone on every level. The human will always go back to that which is comfortable and familiar. The human will always avoid challenge and growth and a little bit of burning and work and hard work. They'll avoid it. Majority of them will always go back to that which is familiar, even if it's pain and suffering and depression, and that which is comfortable, where I don't have to face myself. I don't have to face consequences. And that's just complete fear, driven by fear. But that's why in spirituality we say everybody should do a retreat for themselves at least twice a year, like a detox, digital detox. Because if we don't, we get so lost in this world of the digital world, that we actually can't find our way back out anymore. And that's a problem. That creates mental health issues again. So the whole mental health sector is going to be doing very badly and very poorly if we don't take care of ourselves. We do need to do that. Go into nature for walks. Attend a spiritual retreat, a silent retreat, a yoga retreat. Attend some workshop that just brings you back to yourself without all the stimulation. At the end of the day, if you're a smoker, right, there's only so much you can smoke. If you're a drinker, there's only so much you can drink. If you're a sex addict, porn addict, there's only so much of it that you can do, right? So we need to hone ourselves and limit ourselves and say, okay, like smoking, only so many a day. I can't just unlimited smoke or drink or sex, drugs and rock and roll. You have to we have to take care of balance, absolute balance. And then, of course, work on those addictions. Why we have those addictions? What is emotional feeling has been lacking and missing in one's life in order to drive us to drink and smoke and get all those addictions.
Yeah, absolutely. I wanted to also chat about feeling fine versus thriving, which is another huge sort of attitude that's tied into this. It's such a challenge. How do you suggest someone tackle just feeling fine as though that's adequate?
Yeah, you see, this feeling fine syndrome is again comes from the space of I rather stay there, which is familiar to me, than dare to grow and face something that's unfamiliar for me, which means I rather stay and just feel fine and not grow.
And comfortable.
But it's very comfortable, but it's not sustainable in the long run, because this leads to ultimate depression, to addictions, to more suppression, to health issues. So when we are unhappy and we're just faking it the whole time, it takes its toll on the physical body, on the mental body, the psyche, and the physical body. And then one wonders, okay, why have I got back pain? Why are my shoulders sore? Why have I got high blood pressure? Why can't I see properly? And then, oh yeah, it's just a age-related thing, It's not. It's not an age-related thing. One can age gracefully for a very long time, up to right till the end, in a healthy way. It's just when we have suppressed emotions, it cannot go anywhere else but on the physical body. Our physical body is not separate from our mental body and our emotional body. They're one and the same. And there's even proof of that. Just imagine, if you're feeling sad, where do you feel it? You feel it in your heart. So it's going to affect all the organs in your heart area. When you're feeling anxious and nervous and stressed, where do you feel it? In your stomach, in your solar plexus. And that's where you're going to feel it. You're going to get tummy ulcers, you're going to get digestion issues, etc., etc. And now we're talking about the chakras while we're talking about emotions and how they affect the physical body. If you're dealing with anxiety and fears and worries all the time, you're going to feel it in your back, lower back pain and stuff like that. If you're suppressing your words and your truth because you're so afraid of what people say and think, and you're afraid of the consequences, you're going to deal with thyroid issues or throat problems, voice box issues, etc., etc. So this is all very, very measurable. You know that when you feel bad in your body. And if you feel bad in your body's producing stress hormones. And when your body produces stress hormones, your organs and your gland, the glands are the ones that produce the hormones, but your organs that it should nurture are undernourished. They take strain. Stress, you can look at it, just stress, the biggest disease in the world. It attacks the adrenal glands, the kidneys. So everybody knows that people that are stressed, they've got kidney problems and stomach problems. And they're both in about the same height. The stomach is in the front, the kidneys are more in the back. And these organs actually take strain. And if they take strain, other organs and glands in the body, they kick in because they need to help now. But it means they're also getting drained and strained. So there's no equilibrium anymore in the body. And in yoga, we want to create symmetry in the body, balance.
Yes, actually, so the next question is about yoga. So yoga and menopause, which is a hot topic these days, why is this practice so beneficial during this phase of womanhood, in your opinion?
Again, because, when we practice yoga, depending on what style of yoga you practice, but there's different factors. First of all, we have a breathing technique, a particular breathing technique. It's called the Ujjayi breath. It means you slow your breath down and you breathe it through the back of your throat with your voice box, using your voice box. And if you breathe this, it actually stimulates or harmonizes the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve is the largest nerve in the body, and it's directly linked to the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the nervous system to quieten things down, rest and restore, right? So when we're in an active state of mind and lifestyle, and nutrition, when I say active nutrition, I'm talking a lot of alcohol, fizzy drinks, all the unhealthy stuff that one is often accustomed to, right? They stimulate more the sympathetic nervous system, which is fight and flight, and we're constantly busy and active. When we do yoga and we breathe the Ujjayi breath, it slows it all down, so we start relaxing. That's number one. Then number two, when you do the postures, all the postures are designed to bring stress, pressure, tension and friction on organs and glands in the body. So when you're doing forward bends, continuously forward bending, you're putting tension, pressure, stress and friction on the glands in the front side of the body. When you're doing twists, you're putting pressure on the pancreatic glands inside the body. When you're doing back bends, you're opening up and you're closing, and you're opening up and you're closing. So you're stimulating the glands. When you stimulate these glands, they start producing, and it starts self-regulating through the relaxed state of mind and internal state that we are creating, and through the pressure, tension, stress and friction on the glandular system we're creating balance. It balances in the body. It balances the sympathetic nervous system together with the parasympathetic nervous system. So you're feeling relaxed, calmer, more soothed. So then you're more able to manage these changes going inside the body in menopause. Your body is able to actually deal with it much, much easier and cope with it easier. That's why it works.
Wow, I could listen to that for ages. It's fascinating how it all
really is.
It really is.
Ties together, yeah. And then, of course, I must just bring into that now talking about RTT therapy. There's a lot of people, they struggle with menopause, and there's a lot of people that don't struggle with menopause. And again, there, it's a mindset, Those people that could be struggling with menopause, they might have a belief system that says, aging is not for sissies, aging is terrible, aging is awful. So they will more likely have a negative connotation or belief system towards aging. So now it's not enough to just know that and change your thoughts. It's not enough. You actually need to regress and you need to go to the root of where this belief system started. And when you got to the root, you start realizing, hey, hold on, that's not me. That never will be me again. That was my mother's issue, my grandmother's issue, my auntie's issue, whoever's issue. That's where healing actually starts, when you go to the root of where it began. And then you can move forward and age gracefully and manage menopause so much easier. And another thing, the biggest problem in menopause, people with menopause, they're detached from nature. Nature is key. We are made up of all the elements exactly as in nature. We've got those components in our bodies. So connecting to nature, deep, slow breathing, doing a few postures, bringing tension, pressure, stress and friction onto the glands, it's the key.
Okay, so we've recently discovered the numerous benefits of yoga again with regards to hips and pelvis. Can you tell us a bit more about the benefits of yoga on this area?
Yes, life begins in the pelvic area. The seed of life begins in the pelvic area. So the way we approach this life and get born into this life determines a lot, as I previously explained, the belief systems we develop, etc. So the pelvic area is where birth begins. The legs and the hips are those elements that bring you forward in life. So bringing you forward with flexibility and joy, or bringing you forward blocked and stuck and stagnant. Which one? Depending on the belief systems. Through this also, the hips and the pelvis, they are directly connected to the spine. So if the hips and the pelvis are asymmetric, the spine is going to develop asymmetric, can create certain tendencies of scoliosis, etc. and so on. So when we do yoga, we want to bring symmetry back into the body. Let's just take the tree, for example. If you do the tree on one leg and you find, oh, that one's easier to balance, I can stay there way longer, that means you're good. If you go on the other side and you feel, oh no, this one's way too wobbly and I can't stay here just as long, that means you've got work to do on that side. Which means either the foot muscles, the leg muscles, or the hip muscles, or the glute muscles. One of them are weakened, there's not enough support, there's not enough balance, there's not enough symmetry here. So what we would do in yoga, we would stay longer on that side which is the worst side. And the normal tendency of the person, of the mind, is, oh no, let me do the side that's easier because I can stay there longer. And that's the problem. You're creating more asymmetry. So now we want to go to the weak side. We want to work the weak side. We want to make sure there's mobility in all the joints. We want to make sure that all the muscles are strengthened. We want to make sure that we stand there way longer than on the good side. And this is how we then start creating more symmetry again back in the body. Because if the pelvis and the hips are symmetrical, the spine aligns itself, and then the rest of the yoga work, obviously for the upper body, stretches, releases, tension, pressure, and all that. And then we're creating balance in the body.
Yes, always
and
back to
balance in the mind through knowledge. Always back to balance, everything. Balance and equilibrium.
Yes, perfect. What advice can you give someone struggling to break out of survival mode?
Take a yoga class for sure with a good yoga teacher.
I was just going to say.
Yeah. No, literally.
It's a good starting point.
First of all, most people unfortunately don't even realize that they're just in survival mode. That's the problem, And what's going to happen is they're going to go on social media and they're going to watch a few things and see people. And then they're going to maybe feel inspired by something somebody has said. That's where they need to stop. Stop scrolling. Stay there where you were inspired to what you heard. Research that person, attend a program with that person, do something with that group or entity or person or whatever, but stay there. Grow a few roots there for a little while. Don't scroll further and further and further, because you're just staying stuck in this whole rut of survival mode. And survival mode is really, it's not living. You're not living when you're in survival mode. You're really not living. You only start living when you dare to question your survival mode and when you dare to transcend your survival mode. Then you start living. And that's so worth it. So worth it. So breathe slowly, breathe deeply, attend some good ass yoga, or research the people that you inspired by on social media and follow them and follow their knowledge and just make the first step. It's very difficult to learn.
Yes, but I love what you said just now about allowing some roots to grow somewhere. I love that analogy because you can really, it's so true. I think all of us are so used to hopping from one thing to the next. Our attention spans are really, really bad, and we're not able to just be and allow a bit of growth in a specific area.
It's like the same as, you can be a jack of all trades and a master of none. That's not a good place to be. I'd rather be a master of one and leave all the other stuff to other professionals, And we have to grow roots, because if we are we call them spiritual shoppers, you just go like shopping, window shopping everywhere. And, let me try this, let me try that, let me do this, let me try that. The more you do that, the more dissatisfied one becomes. And the less you know. And then you're hanging in this abyss and you're thinking, gosh, I've done so much already and I still don't know what to do and where I belong and what I should do. Find one thing that works for you and just grow roots there. I'm telling you, it gives a person so much stability. So much stability. And from that stability, you start growing and healing. And later you can always explore other avenues, but you actually need to discipline yourself to stay there for a little while.
Yes, it's discipline.
Very important. Very, very important.
Okay,
and you can start steps, because a lot of people really struggle with discipline, so one can start small. Baby steps. Baby steps.
So we've spoken about various parts of the body, and now we're going to go to the spine. Let's chat about how yoga keeps the spine healthy and flexible.
Well, the thing is, the spine is the most important aspect of a human body. The spine connects the head to the lower extremities of the body, and through the spine runs the central nervous system. The whole nervous system from the brain goes through the spine into the body, communicating with all the organs and the arms and the legs and the rest of the body. So the nervous system, if the spine is trapping the nervous system or the nerves in the spine, we're going to be in pain and we're going to be suffering in pain. So in yoga, we move the spine in various directions. We bend it forwards, we bend it backwards, we twist it, we elongate it, we side bend it, and the spine has to move in all these different directions to keep a healthy spine. So now if you look at your day-to-day living, how often do we bring in this kind of movement? You might turn around once just to grab something. That's one turn, but you've got no alignment, you've got no structure, you've got no goal. You're just unconsciously doing this. And unconsciously doing this, and you don't have the kind of muscles to support that movement, if they're not strong enough, you're going to be bringing a bit of tension and pressure onto the discs of the spine. So in yoga, it's very, very holistic. It's not just turning and stretching, it's strengthening. It's aligning. So alignment is key, strengthening the muscles is key, then doing your twists and turning from a strengthened state and point of view. That's intelligent yoga. And intelligent yoga is that which keeps the spine supple and healthy, and that's what leads to longevity. If the spine is healthy, then you grow old very healthy.
Perfect. Okay. So although I already know the answer that you're going to give for this, what is your opinion on the importance of wellness, so like all aspects of wellness and movement?
So basically, if you want to be a happy, healthy human being, you have to actually do something for it. It doesn't fall in your lap, and rather do things that you enjoy to do, but make sure there's enough movement. During the day, you need a certain amount of movement. Get up and down 100 times a day. This is what keeps a supple, healthy body. A lot of old people nowadays, like my mother-in-law included, They feel that they're getting old, they don't need to move much anymore, they talk themselves into being tired, then they lie on the couch all day watching TV. And the more they do that, the weaker their body becomes, the more that depressed they become. So we have to take care of balance. Never stop moving the body. Never stop moving. And if it's not yoga, let it be walking, let it be the gym, let it be something. Walking is not enough because it doesn't strengthen the upper body, so you'll need a gym. Yoga is amazing because it does everything. It does from bottom to top. There's every single nook and cranny in your body gets nourished through yoga and worked through yoga. Yoga is the only system that is so holistic compared to any other sport whatsoever. So we have to take care of balance. Nutrition, healthy nutrition. Take a holiday in a retreat. And if you take a holiday, make sure it's not always a drinking party up a storm holiday. Make sure it's also a holiday for your soul, for your whole being. And that's what a holiday is. You come into silence. I like to attend and host silent retreats twice a year so that people can just go into silent space and not always be distracted and chitty-chatty and want more and want more. We need to become a little bit more internal, not just external. External makes people crazy. They become more and more unhappy. They see what other people have and they want more of that.
You become dysregulated.
Exactly, very dysregulated. So yes, there has to be a balance of good nutrition, healthy movement, good deep breathing, and some quiet time.
Actually, we've just touched on the next question. So funny, the answers are all sort of flowing into the next question. Very good. And most of us are guilty of being neglectful towards our inner selves. How do we begin the self-care? And you've just mentioned the retreats and time for yourself and stillness.
Yeah. It's often very difficult to do this on your own. If one is not accustomed to this and one is not drawn to this, a lot of people think, can't be bothered. You need some help to get started. This is where personalized coaching and guidance comes in, or a group yoga class where people are motivated to make small steps. It's really about small steps. And it's really, first of all, it starts with you have to understand that a good, healthy, happy life is not sustainable if you don't do that. You have to really get a wake-up call. And unfortunately, a lot of people get a wake-up call by first getting sick and ill. That forces them to make the change. Now, why not make the change in small doses beforehand and be smart and intelligent about it, right? And maintain and sustain a good, healthy way. There are many avenues which one can go. Like I said, some people don't like yoga, don't want to do yoga. Fair enough. There is another option for those people. Go to a dance class. Go to paddle. Go for surfing, beach walking, whatever. Join some group somewhere down the line. Read inspiring books. Get an audiobook of Dr. Joe Dispenza or Dr. Bruce Lipton, all those guys that are really motivating one, to become more connected. We have to realize one thing. We first need to become scared for those people that can't do it on their own. The thing is, what scares most people is we are all becoming so digitalized, so disconnected. Imagine us living like robots at some point in life. I would rather not live like that, So we have to realize these things. And sometimes you've got to knock a little bit of sense into people by telling them the reality. And the reality scares a lot of people. But that's the only way to wake up. There's only so long and so much one can keep those blindfolds down because it's not a happy, sustainable place to be.
Absolutely. Okay. Last question is, I love how you believe that generosity promotes happiness. Why do you believe that, and how are the two linked?
That's probably my favorite question.
Love this. Yes.
Deeply passionate about that, yes. Look around. Everybody is just like elbowing each other out of the way all the time, and everyone is obsessed with self-gain, self-survival. Everyone's in survival mode. In many countries, not only South Africa, in many countries, poorer countries, where people have to battle and fight, where the social system isn't really that generous or, not so intact and so on. People become obsessed with self-survival. If you look back in the day, you still have that, it says, what does it say? That it takes a community to raise a child. Nowadays, it's like, don't you dare tell my child what to do. This is my child, only I get to say, etc. So the disconnect is so immense. But when we start serving other people, doing things for other people, without this intention of self-gain, right, we automatically become happier, because when you're doing something for someone and you see how happy it makes them, how grateful they are, this releases endorphins in your body, happy hormones, and you automatically feel so much better. I'm telling you, take a depressed person, put them in a position where they are just helping others, helping others, helping others. They will never think of their depression again. It's so, the biggest self-serving thing you can do is to serve someone else. When you're serving somebody else, you're disconnected from your ego. It's the ego that says me, myself, and I. My survival, my family, my children, you don't even count. That's just ego. Ego creates barriers between people. Borders, barriers, wars. That's what ego creates. And if we want to ever transcend this world of war and pain and suffering, we have to all drop ego. We have to understand ego. We don't have to eliminate ego. Ego has its purpose, and the purpose of ego is for survival, but we've misconstrued the information of my neighbor means it bad for me. I need to look out for myself first, therefore I don't even want to know my neighbor. No, that's not the way. What can I do for you? How can I help you? How can I serve you? This creates a happy nation, and that heals ego, puts ego back in its place.
I just want to quickly mention, I think that's so important if you're going like through a depressive episode or a depressive time, but it's not perhaps a solution for people with clinical, chemical depressive issues.
Yes.
I just want to
No,
say
that is true.
there is a
Very
difference.
True.
Yes.
Yes, very
but
true.
I understand what you mean.
They need help.
Okay,
you see,
that
the
is
biggest
beautiful.
the biggest form of depression, or the biggest cause of depression, is not feeling enough. And if you don't feel enough, you're going to do anything and everything to survive. And that's the biggest problem.
Okay, perfect. So I know that you've got upcoming events and workshops. Would you like to tell us a bit about them?
Yes, well, at the moment, the main workshop coming up is actually a yoga teacher training. Now, the yoga teacher training with me is not just yoga, it's very, very holistic. So it doesn't really matter in which field you specialize in. My teacher training will enhance that which you're doing completely and utterly and take it to the next level. So yes, we do learn perfect alignment. We do regular yoga, but we also do a lot of psychology and a lot of self-healing. And there's so much more magic happening there. This will be an online event, and it starts in 10 days. So yeah, it starts in 10 days. That's the only event I've planned for right now, because I'm taking a bit of a sabbatical. I'm taking some time out for myself. But what I am doing in the meantime is a lot of RTT sessions. I do a lot of online hypnosis sessions, guiding people. And there's upcoming workshops coming in that. I have a yoga retreat running in February in Plettenberg Bay at my home. That's the next retreat we have coming up. There was a couples retreat in late January as well. People can just go on my website and see what's being offered there, or just generally reach out and follow me and keep in touch.
Yes, I was just going to say contact details would be Instagram.
Yes.
You've got a website.
Facebook. Yeah. Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. But you'll find them all on my website as well.
Points.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you so much for today. We've had such an insightful chat.
Wonderful. Thank you. Really happy to be here.
Thank you so much. Thank you.